In her campaign speeches, Vice President Kamala Harris has said that Donald Trump plans to pass a national sales tax, emphasizing that it could cost American families thousands of dollars annually. As an American, I do not want to pay any more taxes. I'm tapped out. We already pay federal and sales taxes. Some Americans who live in states with state taxes pay even more. So my question is, what the heck is a national sales tax? I mean, have you ever heard of this? Has any other president ever tried to pass one? Welcome to the Policy Decoder, where we take complex and obscure government processes, legislation, and other complicated and convoluted mediums related to taxes, child protection, education, healthcare, and nutrition, and break it down so that the average American can understand. Despite the fact that no U.S. president has ever passed a national sales tax, political ads are alleging that this is the plan of Donald Trump. So we need to look at what Donald Trump is proposing in regard to a national tax and how it can affect American families.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior.
Although it can function similarly to sales tax, tariffs are not the same as a national sales tax, though they can have similar effects on consumer prices. Here's a breakdown of the differences. Tariffs are taxes imposed on imported goods when they enter a country. Tariffs are paid by importers, who often pass the cost on to consumers through higher prices. National sales tax, on the other hand, is a tax levied on the sale of goods and services within a country, usually paid by consumers at the point of sale. It applies to transactions between businesses and consumers, typically without regard to where the goods are produced, whether domestic or foreign. Question 3. What is the purpose of tariffs? The purpose of tariffs is to impose taxes on imported goods, which can serve several key functions in a country's economy. 1. Protecting domestic industries. Tariffs make imported goods more expensive, helping domestic manufacturers compete by making their products relatively cheaper. This protection can support local jobs and industries, especially in sectors that might struggle against cheaper foreign competition. 2. Generating revenue. Tariffs provide a source of revenue for governments. The money collected from tariffs can be used to fund public services and infrastructure projects. 3. Regulating trade. Tariffs can be used as a tool to influence international trade relationships. By imposing tariffs, a country can pressure trading partners to adhere to certain standards or practices, such as labor rights or environmental regulations. Question 4. What are the benefits of tariffs? One benefit is job creation. By protecting domestic industries, tariffs can help sustain and create jobs in sectors like manufacturing. This can be particularly beneficial in regions where jobs are reliant on traditional industries. Another is encouraging local production. Tariffs can incentivize consumers to buy locally produced goods, fostering local economies and reducing reliance on imports. Then there is trade balance improvement. By making imports more expensive, tariffs can reduce the volume of imported goods, potentially improving a country's trade balance. This can lead to a more favorable economic position over time. And last, a benefit of tariffs is national security. Some industries are considered vital for national security, such as defense and energy. Tariffs can help maintain the viability of these industries by ensuring they remain competitive against foreign products. While tariffs have potential benefits, they can also lead to higher prices for consumers and retaliatory measures from trading partners. Question 5. What are the potential impacts of tariffs? While tariffs and a national sales tax can both influence consumer prices, they serve different purposes, apply in different contexts, and impact the economy in distinct ways. An example is the 2018 tariffs on Chinese imports, initiated under President Donald Trump as part of a broader trade war with China. The tariffs ranged from 10 to 25% on over $300 billion worth of imports. Many of the goods targeted by the tariffs were everyday consumer items like smartphones, laptops, and appliances. As a result, companies importing these goods passed the increased costs on to consumers. For instance, prices of electronics and other Chinese-made goods rose, leading to higher costs for U.S. households. It was estimated that these tariffs cost U.S. consumers about $800 to $1,000 per household annually, depending on how much they purchased of tariffed goods. Some businesses dependent on Chinese imports faced increased costs or supply shortages, which also affected consumers, especially when U.S. producers couldn't meet demand as quickly or cheaply. While some domestic industries benefited from protection against cheaper Chinese imports, others, like manufacturers reliant on imported components, suffered from higher production costs. This raised prices on both imported and domestically produced goods. Additionally, China imposed retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, which hurt U.S. exporters, particularly in the agricultural sector. This provides a clear example of how U.S. tariff policies can result in price hikes on everyday goods, impacting household budgets across the country. So now that we all know what a tariff is and the impacts, let's go deeper. Why would any U.S. president impose tariffs if it can have a negative impact on consumers? The 2018 tariffs imposed by the U.S. on Chinese imports were largely driven by several key issues related to trade imbalances, intellectual property theft, and China's industrial policies. The U.S. had a significant trade deficit with China, meaning it imported far more from China than it exported. In 2017, the U.S. had a goods trade deficit of approximately $375 billion with China. The Trump administration viewed this imbalance as harmful to the U.S. economy, as it was seen as costing American jobs and reducing domestic production. Another is intellectual property theft. One of the major drivers of the tariffs was the U.S. accusation that China was engaging in widespread intellectual property theft and forced technology transfers from American companies. U.S. companies doing business in China were often required to share their technology with Chinese firms, either directly or through joint ventures. This was seen as undermining U.S. innovation and competitiveness. A 2017 report by the U.S. Trade Representative under Section 301 of the Trade Act accused China of policies that allowed them to unfairly acquire U.S. technology and intellectual property, leading to the decision to impose tariffs. The Chinese government's industrial policy, particularly the Made in China 2025 initiative, aimed at making China a global leader in advanced technologies like robotics, aerospace, and artificial intelligence. The U.S. viewed this as a threat to its own industries, especially as China was heavily subsidizing its domestic industries, giving them an unfair competitive edge in the global market. Then there is trade policy goals. The tariffs were part of a broader strategy to renegotiate trade relationships with China. By imposing tariffs, the Trump administration hoped to force China to the negotiating table to address these issues, rebalance trade, and create fairer conditions for U.S. companies. While the tariffs were aimed at protecting U.S. industries and addressing these economic concerns, they also led to increased costs for U.S. consumers and businesses, especially those reliant on Chinese imports. The trade war escalated as China imposed retaliatory tariffs, creating tensions that affected various sectors, including agriculture and manufacturing. This brings me to the last question. So on the surface, it really looks like tariffs are something that will hurt consumers and even businesses, and it can in the short term. But what about the benefit in the long term? The media is only reporting one side, which is shallow in my opinion. But that's why we are here to go deeper and decode what you have been hearing in the media. In closing, a tariff is just a tool that can be used to protect domestic industries and consumers in the long term. But as with every tool, knowing when and how to apply them is key. Focusing on the short-term negative effects of tariffs is one-sided. The long-term impact must also be considered. According to Economic Policy Institute's analysis, between 2001 and 2018, the growing trade deficit with China led to the loss of 3.7 million U.S. jobs, with the majority, 2.8 million, occurring in the manufacturing sector. This impact was particularly severe in industries like electronics, which saw significant job losses. And a substantial portion of these losses are allegedly attributed to China's currency manipulation and government subsidies, making U.S. goods less competitive, both domestically and abroad. If you're concerned about tariffs or want to learn more about related policies, be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell for more related content. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below.